Hello folks, in today's video we're going to take a look at Google Calendars. Why? Well, because it's time to revisit them. The last video I made is about 4 years old and the interface has changed, but mostly because so many of you either don't know about them or are barely even using them, and if you are, you're not maximizing all the goodness that is Google Calendar. So stay tuned folks. I'm going to give you at least 5 top strategies that I use all the time to stay on top of things. Let's take a look. So we're going to start with the email interface to take a look at the calendar. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but I want to show you how to use a feature of the calendar called tasks. So here's an email from the teacher. And remember that your email is context sensitive, so that means that you need to select it so that you can see all the other things that you can do with it. Archive it and trash it and report it as spam, put a label on it. I showed you how to do that in a past video. But look at these 3 dots. If you click those little dots there and you say add it to task, then your task bar over here is going to open up. And I've already done it here. I've added it to the task. So this email that came from Google Classroom, so I've selected it and I put it on my task calendar. And then I added a date. So the reason that I added a date to an email in my inbox is because I want it to show up on Google Calendar. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So you've got your 9 squares up here in the top right. Click that and there's your calendar. And by the way, you can move any of those apps around. You can customize that, right? So here we are in the calendar interface, and you see that down here to the left, you have this is the student calendar, so that will have your name on it. This is just a test student account. Then we have the reminders that I'm going to talk to you about. This is the task calendar that I'm talking to you about right now. And this is the calendar from the Introduction to Psychology course. And any other teacher calendars that you might have subscribed to will be down here. So when you go from your email and you add it to your tasks, that's where it shows up. It's going to show up on the task calendar if you put a date on it. If you don't add a date to it, then it won't show up. But it will be in your task panel. And where do you find that? Well, you know, when you're in your email, your task panel is right over here. Let's collapse this. If you look at the very bottom, there's a teeny weeny little arrow to see your side panel. That's hard to find, but there it is. So click on that and your side panel will open up. And when it does, you see an icon for a calendar, an icon for Google Keep, which I'll get to another video in, and there's your task calendar. So click on that and there's the panel that opens up. So what I've done is I've gone from my mail and I added it to my tasks. That's my to-do list. But because I put a date on it, it's going to show up in my calendar. And there it is, right there. So let's take a look at the calendar now. So you have your personal calendar. You have your reminders that are visible through your calendar. This is an extra calendar that I created. I want to show you how to do that. And that's the task calendar. So even on the calendar over here, I have my task panel over here on the side. If I can click that and open it up, there's my to-do list. So I can put things here on my to-do list. Go to the movies, let's say, with my friends. And that's a nice task. And so now that's on my task to-do list. But it's not on my calendar unless I put a date on it. So the next thing that I want to show you how to do is how to use your calendar so that you can organize, say, your study time. So let's get rid of these other calendars so that I don't have to look at all these colors, and just deselect like that, and all the calendars are gone except for your personal calendar. And let's say that This weekend I want to do two things. So let me block out time on Saturday for working on my project. So you can click this plus button over here. So let's create an event. Click on that big button, or you could just click on the day where you want to create your event. That's the same thing. And let's just call this project thinking time, because I want to take the time to think about what I want to do for my end of term project. Now, if I just save it like that, I get this solid bar of color, which means there's just no time associated with that. It's all day long. That's okay, except that's what you're going to be using your reminders for. So let's block out some time, because if you want to get organized, I really recommend that you say to yourself, okay, Thursday afternoons from 5 to 6 before supper, I'm going to take that 1 hour, I'm going to review my notes for the class the next day. Or Saturday mornings, I'm going to give myself 45 minutes and I'm going to stick to it. And so let's take a look at this. Let's edit this. So for a half an hour, I'm going to be doing my project thinking. So let's save that. So there you have your project thinking time already blocked out on your calendar. And just continue to decide when you want to do your work. When are you going to be doing your reviewing your notes? When are you going to be reviewing for a test the next day? Not just for this course, but say for any other course. So block that out on your calendar. The next thing I want to show you how to use are the reminders. So let's turn that on. And right now you see that I've already set a couple of reminders here. If we zoom in, you can see a little finger with like a thread stuck around it. That's to remind you. And I'm going to show you how to work the reminders. It's pretty easy. So let's just do it for tomorrow. All right. And I'm going to give myself a reminder to watch the video on Google Calendar, say. So from here, I choose, is it an event or is it a reminder? Well, I'm going to make it a reminder. And now it's gone orange because that's the color of my calendar. And here I can choose a time. If I don't want it to be an all-day reminder and I want to be reminded at a specific time, I can choose remind me at, say, 6 o'clock. And I can also make this say every Wednesday at 6 o'clock or something like that. You can use the custom feature and you can decide that you're going to remind yourself every Wednesday or every Thursday or Friday or whatever. When it's going to end, never ends, but don't do that because then your calendar is going to get really busy. But it's going to end, say, on, and then pick a date when you want it to end. So that's how you're going to use your reminders. And then save, and there they all are. So let's take a look and see what this looks like on your phone. So you go to the App Store and you get the Task app and open that up. And I'm already in my student account. And you can see that what we added earlier, go to the movies, is already synced on the phone. So this is brand new here. Import your 2 reminders. So I have 2 reminders on that calendar. And new is I can bring the reminders right into my task calendar. That's pretty cool. Let's check this out. So the reminders that I had, discuss a possible topic, that was a reminder. So you see, there's my repeat every week, every Friday. That's very cool. So you can use the Task app on your phone. You can also use the Calendar app on your phone. So the interface is a little bit different. You can see a week view, a day view. You can deselect calendars that you don't want to see on your phone, like maybe your reminders, but why would you want to deselect that? I want to see the course calendar. I want to see the reminders. I don't need to see the holidays. And if you have a calendar in your personal Gmail and a calendar for your school, as I do, and you might as well, you can go into settings and you can manage your accounts right from here. And so I can sign out of my personal Gmail account and I can sign into my school account. which would be this one here, or into my test student account, which is the one that we were working on a while ago. So now if I come back to my calendar, I'm going to see all of the things that we entered earlier as our test student. The last thing I want to show you is how to create a calendar. Just click this button and you can create a new calendar for whatever purpose. Maybe your sports team, maybe your study group, as in the case of this student here. So if you've created a calendar and you want to invite some of your friends to that calendar, how do you do that? Well, that's pretty easy. You can click on those three little dots over there and you can go into the settings from here, or you can always access the settings to your calendar by this gear icon up here. So let's go into settings and see what we do. First, let's select the calendar that we want to invite other people to. That's this calendar, the study group. Scroll down to share with specific people. And right over here is where you would put in the emails of the students, your friends, that you want to share that calendar with. So anytime you add something to that calendar, it'll automatically appear on their calendar because they will be subscribed to your study group calendar. The last thing I want to show you is general notifications. Under daily agenda, if I select email for this particular calendar, that means that everything I have on that calendar will appear in my inbox every morning at 5 a.m. So this is what it would look like when you're in your inbox. So this morning at 5 a.m., Google Calendar sent me an email telling me this is what I have on my calendar for today. So that's it, folks. I hope that you learned how to use Google Calendar, reminders and tasks, and get that app on your phone and everything else, all the other tips that I gave you today. I hope you get into the habit of blocking out time for yourself and getting organized and learning how to use a Google Calendar.